What's going on, everybody? I know we're running a little bit late here. Had some stuff going on at church today. I had to make pizza for 130 people, so we had to cook a little bit, but give us about 30 seconds here and we'll be going live.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Knights of Teleria podcast. Thank you all for joining us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. I know if you're watching us, you're not watching the Patriots game right now, which, hey, thank you. If we're beating out football in your lives, then we're doing something right. That said, we got to talk about a lot of things today, man. We got to talk about, content creators being blamed for things that Plarium doesn't do right. We're going to talk about the recent nerf to Sanguine and Maria. And then we're going to have a discussion about what the biggest problems are for the player base and why they're getting so frustrated and leaving Raid Shadow Legends. Before we get too far into the podcast, though, let me introduce my co-host for today's podcast. Sitting in the top little red box, Mr. JR3. Jay, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Doing good, man. Just waiting for the next events for the Fusion. I've heard some news about it. We're gonna probably talk about it. Yeah, just been grinding it. It's not actually that hard. I thought it was gonna be worse. They're gonna make the points a lot more difficult, but it's actually been pretty chill. I barely used any shards, any resources at all, so it's been pretty chill, like a regular fragment summon, even though it's a fragment fusion summon. So overall, been doing pretty good. I of course thankful to be here, and I'm also here with Kenkopia.
That's true. We'll go up to him next. You guys usually alternate weeks, but this week we had a little bit of a change up in the lineup, And we got also his counterpart, Mr. King Copium. King, what's going on, bro? How are you?
What is up, my fellow knights? Twitch, YouTube, hope you're all doing well, having a fantastic weekend as usual. Excited to be here on an off week, get to get down on some of these juicy conversation topics that I always seem to miss out on. So happy to be here, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, awesome. Next up, all the way from Texas, the dab master himself, Mr. Zero Brew Zero. What's going on, bro? How are you?
We are doing just fine, hanging in, hanging out, doing all the things. Got a lot to say about this stuff, the topics that you just covered this weekend. So can't wait to get into it. And I'm just wondering, with the picture still posted, if our boy's bleeding from the nips or not. That's all I got to say. All right.
Well, we'll get into him in just a second here. Let's go all the way to California to see what our top 100 live arena player is doing. Mr. Gessel Gaming. Gessel, what's going on, bro? How are you?
Doing great. Got lucky on Friday. I was just randomly pulling my relics, and off the 4 golds, I had a mythical relic, my second, and it's the Zibia one, which is
nice.
Good. It's good.
There are worse.
Yeah, way worse. So I'm not mad about it, but there's plenty of other ones I would have liked, but I'm good. So I tried it out on Fatalis.
Ooh.
It kind of makes them like almost impossible to kill. It's kind of fun. Yeah, like because you got to get the shield off, and then you can't crit them at like under whatever 20%, 15% health.
Yep. Damn.
So he becomes really tough to kill. It's kind of been fun, and he actually hits pretty hard if he gets ramped up a little bit. So it's been fun, man.
I'm kind of curious on that one. Is it if you go against what's the one that always crits, Death Dealer, right? I wonder which one supersedes at the point where this one comes in. I would love to do some testing on it and see. Maybe we'll try that out. I think I have one on one of my alt accounts.
You got a video, bro.
I you know what? Maybe if I hit tier 3, so if everybody out there smashes that like button and subscribes that's watching, we can hit tier 3 and we can test some of this stuff out. There's my short little plug. And last but not least, giving us an endgame low spend perspective, Mr. MXPJE. PJ, what is going on, bro? How are you?
Doing all right. Sadly, I'm not sure if you guys are UFC fans or not, but a terrible ending to the fight last night. Double eye poke. I was really upset. Waited so long to watch Tom fight, so that was kind of stinky. But as far as the raid, doing good. I can't wait to talk about what we have today. Lots of stuff in raid, always popping. Hopefully, you guys are doing well as well.
Double eye poke. Does that means like you just kind of like put 2 fingers in and just poke him in the eye? Really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
they ended the fight, dude, for basically cheating.
It's pretty easy to.
Yeah. do the Three Stooges.
Wait, who got poked? Who got poked?
Hit him with
Tom.
the Three Stooges.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Double eye poked. He had to go to the hospital. He couldn't see anything.
Oh my god.
All right. Hey, we're gonna give a big shout out to our boy Mr. Final Compatri over here, who's doing a marathon. Who can't join us today because he is just dead tired.
Look at that face.
I know, right? Funny thing here, when he sent me this picture, he's like, "Hey, bro, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm trying, but I'm just tired." And I'm looking at the banner that he's wearing around his neck at the tag, and it says Lycos. Now, for anybody who speaks Greek, Lycos is wolf. So I was like, "Bro, you ran a wolf marathon." And he's like, "Really? That's what that means?" He's like, "I had no idea." I was like, how are you going to sign up for a marathon then have no idea what the name of the marathon is and what you're running it for? So when you guys see him tomorrow, ask him how his wolf marathon was doing. I think he made it. I didn't ask too much because he texted me like right when I was heading into church. So, but yeah, hopefully he's doing well. He's resting up and he'll be back with us next week. All right, so we got to talk about a lot of things today, man. We've got to talk about the recent Sanguine Maria nerf. I think it was a little too harsh in my opinion on what they did. We got to talk about, who really is at fault for the nerf happening, right? Because I'm sure people have their feelings and can make cases for either side. But when we come to reality, we know that it's one particular side, right? And then we're going to talk about a couple of things here of why you guys out there that are currently on the fence of saying, you know what, I really don't feel like staying and these are it. And hopefully at this point, maybe we can go ahead and, I'm sure Plarium knows, but maybe we can give him some suggestions. So first of all, let's start off with the, whose fault really is that Sanguine Maria is getting nerfed, right? There has been a lot of slack being given to Bronco. Now, I did release a video yesterday and discussing, let's be a little bit real here. Is it the content creators' fault that they're showing, an extreme build of something that could happen, something that's entertaining? Because look, when we watch YouTube, we're watching it to learn, we're watching it to get entertained, right? We're not watching it just to do nothing. Because if that was the case, I'd probably watch cable news or something else, that's a little more interesting. So we are watching it to be entertained and to maybe learn. That said, I want to hear from you guys, chat, do you feel that Plarium, I'm going to be honest here, I think the fault here goes out to Plarium and the third-party monkeys that they hired for testing this, because it really feels like it's monkeys, brother. Like,
dude, I know, dude. Pick me first.
How do you not, I said last week at the end of the podcast that I feel like the A1 could essentially become an issue with a 33% chance on each hit. I could see that becoming a problem. I'm not a very smart guy, guys. I'm a UPS driver. I literally pick up brown boxes, I bring them to your doorstep, and that's it. And I could have told you that that was going to be an issue. So with that in mind, let's go ahead. Let's have the discussion. I guess let's start off with King Copium because he's got a lot to say about this.
I'm going to keep it short, and I'm not going to rob the other knights of their opinions, okay? I just want to be clear about it. But am I allowed to talk about the elephant in the room?
Go ahead.
Or do we have to ignore it? All right. So
do I need to bring the elephant out into the room?
Pull the elephant out. Bring it out. No.
I want to stay monetized.
So these content creators, they make videos for two reasons. One, because they love the game. Two, because they want to make content that people enjoy watching. So you take these content creators that have access to the test server. On the test server, there's no rules, man. Anything goes. They've got, gear, they've got glyphs, they've got relics, they've got time. And so when they want to make a video, they're going to make that thing pop. They're going to make it shine. They're going to do everything they can to make these champions look as good as possible. And I'm not against it. The problem, I see it as a two-way problem. The first problem is Plarium needs to test these champions for real and stop releasing champions into the game that they have to turn around and fix. If you'd fix it before you told us the kit and before you released it into the game, nobody would have batted an eyelash about this. We'd have been like, that's just her kit. But now everybody has to roll it back and say, oh, this is a nerf. This is a problem. This is a difference. If it would have been fixed from the jump, we wouldn't be here. And the second thing is, we can't hate these content creators for making content. That's their job. And one thing that I will say is it would be nice if there was an asterisk on the video that said, hey, this is like not really possible. It's just for fun. And it took me 400 resets to get to this point. This is by no means, the actual farm. It's like when we saw a Titus team take Fire Knight down through his shield. It was like a 16-minute setup. That's not taking over the farm. It's just something fun to see. So I don't know. That's where I stand on it. I don't blame content creators for making fun videos. I blame Plarium for not releasing fully fleshed out champions.
Right. And I think you've kind of hit the nail on the coffin right there. We're saying, hey, be a little more transparent with what we can do, or how long it took us to acquire this. I'm sorry, guys. My camera keeps going on and off. For some reason, somebody's calling my phone and they just don't understand that it's podcast time. But I totally understand and get you here and saying that it really would make a lot more sense to say, hey guys, look, I can't I can't show you every single run, but I'm gonna tell you that it did take me a little bit here. Let me move on to Zero first. Zero, what do you got to say about this, man?
Yeah, well, so first of all, Bronco is one of the nicest, coolest guys. We've had him on the podcast, and the things that he does for us, I think we need in the community. So when I saw his video, and I didn't watch the first video, of course, life is busy for me during the week, and I think they came out during the week, right? But I watched his follow up yesterday, and I was just very upset that he got any grief for that. Again, first of all, if a champion comes in and is getting changed, that that angst should be directed toward Plarium, right? Because we just talked about them not testing it first and foremost. And second of all, Bronco is one of the coolest guys, and honestly, he feeds us ideas and things. It shows us things that are possible. And again, I know this is an extreme situation, this specific one, but all the other stuff he showed has been phenomenal, and no ink should ever be directed toward honestly any of the content creators. I mean, to do something wrong, like, it's okay to be upset. I'm not trying to say that, but like in this case, I don't think it was justified at all, and to get directed. So I just want to get that out of the way. Blazon's also, excuse me, Bronco is awesome, dude, and should never ever have gotten that hate for that. And then second of all, the community came in, they were asking about it. And my take on this champion is like, I looked at this champion from the get-go when we talked about her kid before, is like she's a PvP only champion, and my understanding is the changes aren't touching the PvP aspects of this, right? And they did do it. Granted, the fusion has started, but they did do it right at the very beginning of the fusion while those things are still going on. So people weren't getting locked in. So give Plarium a little bit of credit from that perspective. But in terms of the testing, and I think what it boils, I had to really think about it, and I was like, you know what? I bet they can pay a whole team of testers for the price of one actual real developer in a European country for the price of one European salary for a whole team of people. But those team of peoples are just checking if what we coded is doing what we think it should do in the game. Meaning, if we say it's a triple hitter on the A1 and it's a 33% chance and you can only get one extra turn, they are checking that, and that's what they're checking. Because I will say, the way things are written now, granted, if they wrote them wrong or they broke other things in the game, I don't think those code checkers are there to test it. I think they're just there to test the code and put their thing up. So I think Plarium needs to really address where these problems are stemming from. Is the champions they're bringing in are breaking the game, right? But at the end of the day, and this has been a tough couple of weeks, they are bringing a lot of champions in the game. I think in the last 2 months, we've had 10 champions or something or more. When there's already 1,000 already created, right? So stuff's going to happen. You got to give them a little bit of leeway from that perspective. I'm not trying to take Plarium's stance on this, but anyway, I know I just covered like 13 topics, and I'll shut up. But I'm just saying, like, at least they're giving us a little, at least they're giving us stuff. Now, are they giving us too much? That's a different topic. I got stuff to say about that, but I'll shut up now and move on.
All right. Sorry about the camera issue, guys. I got it fixed now. I told them to stop calling me. So back to what I wanted to touch up on, King Copium saying, look, we do need to be a little more transparent when we record the videos and say, hey, listen, it'll be, we tried 50 or 100 runs, and I know there's some content creators out there like Boozer, who puts at the top of his video that says, hey, listen, my account is an endgame account. I'm free to play, but I do get the content creator perks from Plarium. So your account may not do the same things my account does because I get all these other extra resources for being a content creator. Here's the thing, and I'm not trying to make excuses here, but the viewer retention in a lot of those videos isn't, it's not crazy. We could put out here a 20-minute video or a 10-minute video, and our viewer retention is 2 minutes because everybody just skips what they want. So while I agree with that, maybe us as content creators should just put a little notification at the front of the video saying, hey, everything you see here is based on my account. I'm a 6-year player, da 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 da, and that's it. So I get that point, and I can respect that, and I think that is something that we should strive for. But at this point, you know, if you're looking at a content creator like Bronco, who's brought you teams like the Wixwell Yannicka team, right? You know that this guy goes out and above to try to get some of these things done. So with that said, let's move on to Mr. PJ. PJ, what do you got to say about this?
It's a tough topic. I kind of see both sides. I definitely don't think it's like we should be blaming everything on Bronco. Maybe like a teeny tiny bit. But at the end of the day, it's Polarium at the making the champions, not testing them properly. I just think that Bronco doesn't come off clearly enough and just like really tell like the player base that it's like not realistic to do. Like I feel like he makes the videos very like seem like they're easy to do. I think he did the same thing with the event dungeon with Geo. I think that he came off making that seem like everyone could do that, and that was really hard to do. You needed like crazy gear, you needed like really high blessing. So I feel like he's done in the past too, where it's like I'm not sure. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I think he's just like this is how he is, and it's
I think it's his style.
Yeah, and he needs to maybe
it's just I mean like clickbaity without being shitty about it.
Yeah, but it is still like clickbaity, and I can see people getting kind of frustrated with that. Like I think the test server is supposed to be there for like the community and like show what the average like community can do, and when you're throwing plus 18 fully awakened, fully mythical glyphs, it's like yeah, it's cool to see, but no one can do that. So it's like I don't know, it's kind of frustrating to see that as well because it's unrealistic, and I want to see that stuff that everyone can do or like the average person can do. But I get views and stuff like that as well. So it's tough, like for both sides. Like as a content creator, you want to get the most views you can with the work you put in, and then on the flip side, from the viewer perspective, you want to see something that is realistic and that like the community can do.
And I totally understand that. And I've been a proponent for saying, you know, most of my showcase that I've been doing lately are realistic showcases, right? I try to showcase them without books, without, you know, having to put too many things into them. Like energy for masteries is a pretty decent thing to do. Putting them into a 6-star, giving them some decent gear and saying, okay, this is what they can do. I think that's a good thing. But at the same time, there's a lot of us here that would love to see what extra they can do. As for the clickbait, I mean, let's be honest. YouTube is 90% clickbait. If we can't get somebody to click on our video, you know, it doesn't get views. It doesn't do anything for us. 100%. I mean, I've put stuff out there where I'm rightfully justified in saying that Plurium screwed up and everything. And a lot of people are like, well, you're just clickbaiting us. I'm like, how am I clickbaiting you when I'm telling you this is what they did? They totally screwed this.
Well, it's all bait. It's all bait. The problem is just that there's good bait and there's bad bait.
Right.
At the end of the day.
But I get it, you know, and always remember, whatever you see on YouTube, every account is different. Not everybody's going to do the same thing. Take it, you know, with a grain of salt, and don't invest everything without fully watching the video, without fully understanding what is actually going on, right? Because if you skip from parts to parts to parts and say, okay, oh, well, he did this, but then you skip over the part where he's using a level 15 relic, well, then, okay, who's really at fault there? Because if you looked at the video, you said, oh, okay, this is the build, these are the masteries, I skipped over everything else. Well, you know, relics are a big thing now. Blessings are a big thing now. You have to, you know, fully commit into looking at that and figuring that out. I will say, though, that, you know, I think also Plurium on this end needs to do something with letting us test some of this stuff in a manner where we don't have to use all of our resources to build a particular champion. Like I was on Discord with somebody yesterday and they were talking about building Truath. And I'm like, wait a minute, what are you going to use Truath and what are you going to do with him? Because other than just using him for Veil and hard mode faction wars, I did not use him for anything. And I have him on my account. I've got a 4-star blessing, I think, or something like that. but he's not a great champion. So let's see what do you got to say about it, Jay?
This has been a long thing happening in the community since Stu Gaming, right? If you guys remember that one champion that was an epic and he put on certain gear, he started soloing Ice Golem, and Plarium was like, whoa, we can't have this. We gotta nerf this. And it wasn't that OP. It was just like the video got a lot of views and it could have helped a decent amount of the players. But it's only one section. Champions would have power crept that champion very soon, within like a year. It was not that serious. They didn't have to nerf the champion. But just little things like that, you can see they're like, no. There's systems in place in Raid to hold counts or players who maybe not, 3 or 4 head. They might require other things, right? So in this situation, it was like they had tested, or they had people test it and didn't think it would be this crazy. But when you put, crazier blessings, better gear, you can start pushing that to a whole nother level. They want endgame to be at a certain place. When you have a champion that can solo, it's kind of crazy. But that's also the relic, right? That's doing most of the work, and our A1. They have everything. The test server has all this stuff. Why not just think about it? But their job is not to think about, right? Their job is to do PR, to have all the business happen. And everybody else does everything else. So if you don't have people testing the game, actually testing it, maybe they should get a different team, or maybe they should tell before the champion comes out, make content creators do a test and send those videos to Plarium. So they could be like, okay, let's take this analysis. Let's see what we can do before we even launch something live, which is crazy. This is not the first time they released something live and it gets adjusted. It's like, how do you keep messing up? It is kind of that whole player situation gets me angry. I'm already on the edge, and turtles are holding me there, honestly. But in terms of the Broncos situation, I'm gonna be real, man. It's a normal thing in the community. You wonder why I stream so much. I do YouTube, but I focus on streaming because I have a one-on-one relationship with viewers, with the raid players, other content creators. Versus YouTube, there's a lot of tactics that people get you to watch, or maybe believe this is really good, but there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes you don't know. And I gotta talk about that. But you just gotta think hey, this could be possible, or this could be useful for me. But most of the stuff, I think, as content creators, we should focus on helping the majority of players, not the top 1% or the top, spenders. Because let's be honest, we're a totally different breed. We're at the end game. Most of the players coming in are new, or they're people who are stuck and they need some other solution to progress. So when you see a video like this, of course you're going to get backlash. They're people go I can't even get that to happen, even if I spent money. Right? In terms of it being a good video, whoa, I can't believe she can actually do that. Of course. You can always make that a separate video. You can make that towards the end of the video, right? Because you're using a test server. I think people should just be more transparent with their words, like what happened with Boozer, right? People were saying, he's not free to play, he's getting tier 3 content creators rewards. That's bananas. There's no way he can call himself free to play. Even though he hasn't spent, he's getting hundreds of dollars worth of resources on an account that other free to plays will never have, right? And that's why you have to put the message on the top. That's why things change and people are more vocal, because eventually you start to realize whoa, people are getting upset. So I think this is just a phase. People wanted to lash out because we always talk about Plarium. It's very rare. I wish honestly, in the back of my mind, I wish we could say more things, because I want to say more good things about Plarium. But I used to think they do it on purpose to create drama so there's more views for everyone. It's a win-win, and then Plarium just takes the L and they're okay with that because they get paid anyways. I used to think that back then. I'm man, they're foreheading in this. When there's a low in raid, they find a way to make drama to make everyone talk about. I used to think, I was they have to be doing that. There's got to be some crazy market there figuring stuff out. But in general, Bronco's a good person. It's just he's a different tier of player, right? He's 4 to 5 head, and when you have something like that, he's gonna. How many things have happened since that? Corporate Cadaver, Wixwell, Yannicka, Emic Trunkheart, Sanguine Maria, so many things. He's just built different. And Plarium needs to step up. Maybe they should talk to him. Maybe you should let him test first. Things like that. But the way that things are run, it's this is going to keep happening. I just hope Plarium actually, before they finalize something, do more testing. Just hashtag do more testing, please. Because people don't want to. I'm already 50% in this fusion, like 30, 40%. I don't want to have to like. There's something else I don't know if we're going to talk about. Do you want me to talk about Blazing? But I've seen
bring it
Cruz's
up.
video. I've had
I'll
other
bring-
people tell me about her multipliers.
Yeah, we're gonna address the changes that they're doing and stuff. I'm gonna address a couple of other things.
Okay.
To emphasis on your point. Hold on one second. To emphasis on your point, you know, when they introduce a champion and when they say like this champion is in development, they get her, they put her in, they test her. This happens months in advance. It's not like they decide, hey, for October, we're going to figure out the fusion in mid-August, right? Or, mid-September. No, they're probably already working towards January, February's fusion, getting it coded, designing her and whatnot. And so the thing is like, why wasn't this done back then, right? Why did it get released? I mean, it's not like we get content changed and shifted every single, week or two where we need to worry about what happens. It's not like, we got Hard Mode Faction Wars that came out, but that didn't affect anything else, right? Go ahead, Zero. Sorry.
No, I just, it's based on everything that, especially what he just said, is that's fine with the whole testing thing, but I swear to God, half the time Plarium doesn't even listen to the content creators. So the tier threes have access to the test servers. And how many times has a champion come out? Like Titus is the most recent example of, holy crap, have you seen how much damage this champion can do? You might consider nerfing him before you bring him into the game. Nope, he's working as designed, or we don't want to hear it type thing. And half the time in this example, they're like, oh crap, they did this one thing with this extreme stuff on, so now we need to go nerf it. So I feel like that's on Plarium too. They do a shit job of listening to people who actually get access to test these things, break these characters, or break some sort of mechanic in the game. And they, half the time they're like, nope, this is working as design. Nope, this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what, yep, nope, Wixwell, fine. Emmek's one. Emmek got nerfed right before he came out. And they're like, oh no, the shield growth is too big for that. And then they give us Wixwell, and they're like, nope, function is design. Trunda, we're gonna change Hydra, nerf Trunda, boom, here's Titus. Nope, we're not gonna touch that. Now Maria comes in, and it's like, oh my God, she can triple hit, and we have these other things in the game that nobody can ever get. And B,
hold on. It's not just that nobody can ever get. But we got to think about, like, there are so many different variations to try to make a champion work and do things. Like, a lot of people complain, hey, if I don't have Wixwell, I can't do a Titus team. Well, that's not really true. You can use Brogni. You can use, there's multiple other champions. Yes, there's one champion that is very particularly built perfectly to make this work, but that's not the case every single time. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that was it. I was just saying, Plarium is really bad at receiving the feedback anyway. So I hear everything y'all are saying, like, hey, let Bronco test this stuff and break it before they even announce what the champion can do. That's great, but they know they will put their foot down and stand on their design half the time, and then the other half of the time they'll when it seems very. In my case, I felt like this was a minor change and they nerfed it. Right. So
right. Sorry, Gessel, what about you? What do you got to say, man?
I'm shocked that people would get upset at Bronco about this. I think we should be putting them lifting them on our shoulders and carrying them around, thanking them for finding this and not wasting all their resources. And then a month or two later, they nerf it and everyone's got all these teams set up. Like, how could you possibly get upset about that? That's like absurd to me. Now, yeah, okay, whatever, crazy gear, crazy whatever, but this stuff won't be crazy in a year or two. So like in a year or two, you want her to be soloing all content? That sounds like absurd. So like you can't think of like right now. Like, yeah, everyone's gonna get upset right now. Like I understand that. Like everything is always right now. Everything is right now, right? Especially in this game. This is a fix for down the road. They had to do this down the road because people are in a year or two, everyone's going to have 18 mythical relics. You're going to have multiple of them. In a year or two, you're going to have all these different things that we don't have now. So this was a fix for the future. I don't know why you would get upset. Now, I can understand people get upset because this is right now. It is absurd. Like who's gonna be able to run this? Probably nobody. It is an absurd thought right now. So I guess I can see why people would get upset about that. But I don't think we should get upset. I think we should be happy that this got fixed before everyone wasted resources. So now it's another topic of trying to get views and making the crazy builds. That's what Bronco does, bro. Like you gotta have variety in your content creators. Like Bronco tries to break the game. That's what Bronco does. If you're gonna watch Bronco's videos, I'm sorry, bro. If you're gonna watch Bronco's videos and think you're gonna do what Bronco does, I don't want. I have a 5-year-old account. I've spent a lot of money on this game. I don't think I can do what Bronco does. I don't think I can do it. I don't watch a Bronco video thinking I can do what Bronco does.
Right. That's a fair point.
Like,
Yeah, it is on the audience. at a
You
certain
need
point,
to
too.
know who you're watching, right? Like, I am not gonna That's just the way it is. So, people got to take some ownership here, man. Like, you're gonna cry about what Bronco's putting out there. You guys gotta take a little bit of ownership. So. I'm a little. I didn't watch any of this video. I didn't even know there was drama. I'm like sitting here listening to what you guys are saying, and I'm like, I didn't even know this was going on. I'm a little surprised. I'm surprised. I'm like, dude, this sounds like he saved us. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Well, not that you guys are hating on. Everyone's not hating on Bronco, but just in general. So,
Right.
I think, yeah, clickbait. That's gonna always be a thing. That doesn't bother me. Clickbait away. If something clickbaitier the title, the less likely I'm going to click on it. That's just how I roll. You guys, everyone's got to do what they do. Do you? But so I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. I don't think it affects the game, frankly. I think it seemed absurd to me. Like all you guys said, it seemed absurd. So I don't think this affects the game. I don't know why it became such a big deal. I think they did what they needed to do. Like that's just how I feel. But
Well, let's talk a little bit about her nerf, right? So what did they actually change on her? So her A1 will no longer grant extra turns when fighting a boss, and the damage on her A1 will be significantly slightly decreased. Sorry, not significantly, slightly decreased. So we're getting a damage multiplier reduction, and we're no longer getting extra turns on her A1, or her skill kit should not proc an extra turn on the A1. That doesn't mean that we can't get Relentless or Merciless. And then her passive will decrease the damage to a lesser extent when fighting bosses compared to its current effect. So did Plarium here go too far with this? Was it really broken from the beginning? And how big of a problem really was it? So I can say, I know that there was a lot of videos or a lot of testing that was done in the background, and the champion got fixed on the test server prior to you actually seeing what you see, right? So prior to that video that Bronco, that everybody else did, she was already adjusted in the test server, and everybody had to scrap all that stuff going out there because of some other issues. With that said, I don't think they needed to go as far as they did, right? Damage multiplier, I think, should not have been touched. If she's a PvP champion, you want her hitting hard, right? It's a triple hitter on the A1. If she gets a turn being an attack-based nuker, she is super freaking squishy, guys. Like a Taras's A1, if it's well built, is going to nuke her. A Nias or whatever you might have, even an Empress, is going to nuke the shit out of her. So you want some survivability on her, right? You want some damage to be done on her. We've got nothing but HP nukers out here. So I don't think that should have been done. Now, I get it is only against bosses, so that is one thing to take apart from this. I think what they really should have done is, again, just make it so that not each hit has a 33% chance, just one hit. You don't need to proc multiple A1s back to back to back to back. They really didn't need to touch anything else. I think if they had just said, hey, it's just one hit that has a chance to proc, not every single one of them. That's it. I think it should have been fine, or per round, whatever. I think, and I'm going to go ahead and say they went too far with the change. They're calling this a
panicked.
rebalance. Right. They went way too far, and that is Plarium's fault right there, 100%. Gessel, what do you got to say about this? I'll start off with you because last time you stayed till the end.
Yeah, well, it's just against the boss, so I don't know. I guess for newer accounts
Well,
that
so
would
the damage reduction is against bosses. Her multiplier is against everything. So PvE
the multiplier is
and
against
PvP.
everything.
Yes.
Okay, I misunderstood that. Okay, yeah, I don't know why they would do that. I mean, did they see? I don't feel like they said they saw something in testing where the multipliers were kind of out of whack in PvP, at least specifically.
No.
Maybe they just did and didn't say it in that note to us, but yeah, I don't know why they would do that. It's a little awkward. I haven't like obviously I haven't tested her, so I don't really know.
Well,
I had just
and
thought
that's the
all the
problem is-
nerf was to the boss. So yeah, I misunderstood that.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
that's-
I guess they had to have seen something that made it look that maybe was too much. I think it like the yeah, I don't know, like say you get 9 in a row and like the multiplier is just like going crazy. Or it's
Well,
a little
so-
too high and
so
you're just
each hit-
melting someone no matter what. Like
Well, so each subsequent hit, she gets a damage boost, right?
Right.
Onto it. But again, none of the footage that I saw really was like, oh my God, she's deleting
that's what I
a
mean.
Taras with like an A1. You would want her to, right? Because you'd want her to go up against, champions like an Empress that you can hit and nuke without another HP champion. You want her going up against, a Galathir or something where he can proc his passive and then still be able to kill somebody on the A3. This is a Halloween fusion. It's one of the big 3 fusions. And again, it's not, I think they went too far. We don't really know what the multiplier is being changed to either, because it's not changed on the test server or here. This is going to come down, God knows when.
Yeah, I'd agree that. Well, again, not knowing, just seeing what you saw from the videos, I didn't feel like the damage looked crazy. But
Right.
that said, maybe got numbers, and we're like, oh my gosh, we can't allow this. So I don't know, but that is disappointing. I thought I didn't know there was a nerf on that. I thought everything was to the boss. So that is a little disappointing. Obviously, I'm gonna still go for it because it's an interesting kit. I was still skeptical that she would get used in my account. Honestly, I kind of feel like Raph is better than her, frankly. But I don't know. Like all the buff counting and 3 turn this, like that will drive me nuts. I'm telling you, that's why I don't think I'm going to use her, because all of that will drive me nuts. So
Okay.
I'm just going for it because she's a Halloween fusion, whatever.
Right. No. So again, from the videos that we've seen that were released on the test server, her damage output was not insane. So if they're thinking that it's insane there and that they need to nerf it, it's already a bad sign that they're bringing it down. Any nerf to her damage multiplier is a problem. I forgot earlier to give a shout out to The Cursed One for the raid. Thank you very much, brother. Guys, if you're not following The Cursed, make sure you go over on Twitch and give him a follow. Sorry about that. I was trying to do it earlier, but I forgot. Zero,
Can
go
I just
ahead.
ask a quick clarifying question? The damage nerf is only in PvE, or is it both PvP?
Both PvE and PvP.
Okay.
So, do you think, Zero, they went too far with the nerf on her?
Well, so here's the thing, though. The extra turn thing was the thing that always struck me. Like when we were talking about our kit, we were sitting here doing we had people doing the maths on it. They're like, well, if you put her in relentless and you do this and you do that, like you have like a 70% chance of her guaranteed to get a second turn or whatever. 70% of the time it happens all the time, right? But then like people were saying like to even go 7 turns in a row, it's still like a 20-something% chance of that happening, and so they didn't change that in PvP. So yeah, I don't know about the damage and all that, and my wife is calling me, and I'll have to not answer the phone. But
Trouble.
again, it's hard to tell that, if she did whatever, if they nerfed it. Sorry, this is confusing the crap out of me. Sorry, let me gather my thoughts. It's really hard to determine because we haven't seen, and so if they did nerf her damage in PvP, excuse me, yeah, in PvP, then that's gonna be tough, right?
Right.
Because I think you do, like you said, need her to be a glass cannon or be a big nuker. I always thought that the extra turn mechanics was going to be broken, and honestly, I'm going for her just because if she becomes meta in live arena, you could potentially pick her and block her. You know what I mean?
Right. She's at least a bannable champion.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's go to PJ next. PJ, what do you got to say about it, man? Did they go too far with the nerf? Did they overreact?
Yeah, definitely. They got debated. I think they might have saw just the clip of her being Fire Knight. They didn't see the whole video. Like they clearly didn't see the requirements. I don't think, because there's no one in the game that could really do this, and for anyone that could, they're not going to do it. You think that Crypto is gonna sit there and run a 2-minute Fire Knight hard team? Hell no. He's running a Siegfried, and it's gonna be like 6 seconds. Like. So
I'm not
the
gonna
people
lie, bro. Like if I could do it, I would, because I want to try to min max every piece of energy I drop.
You think
in this
crypto?
thing.
You think crypto is min maxing that? No, crypto doesn't
No.
give a fuck. He's running that shit in 6 seconds.
Crypto even in running it.
Like, yeah, they don't care. That's the thing is they don't care about
Crypto
Fire
doesn't
Knight,
give
and
a
that's a great
fuck.
topic. That's another thing I was gonna get to. I'm almost at the point where I don't even care if someone can solo Fire Knight. Every other dungeon can be soloed. Like, why is Fire Knight this high pedestal of like, oh, Fire Knight's so big and bad? Like, Shogun can get soloed by Epic, Tolf the main, and I think Embreeze can solo Shogun. Like, Sandoval can get solo Dragon, Ice Golem, Spider. Multiple champions can solo these areas. Like, why is Fire Knight like, ooh, like? So I didn't even care if they did. But if you're skipping her because of the nerf, it's like. You weren't going to do that anyways, so why?
Right.
Like that's not a reason to not do her. She should still be really good in PvP, and this might be a hot take, but I'm almost mad that they nerfed her in PvE and not PvP. People might get mad because they're like, "Whoa, don't nerf her in PvP," but like, if you have Rotos or have gotten Rotos, like he'll just take over the map, and he has a way less percent of getting an extra turn than her. So like it's like, oh, we can't use her mechanics in PvE against Teleria, but against us, the player base, PvP versus PvE, oh go have it. Like you guys can screw yourselves and just get extra turn against each other, but we can't use it against the bots and against the computers. Not like the bots in like the live arena, but like the computer AI or whatever. So like I don't know. It's like she's gonna be super toxic in arena, I feel like, and it's gonna be really frustrating going against her, and she's just gonna take over the map and win by herself if she gets a good enough RNG, and they haven't changed anything about that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little frustrated that the way they handled it. I definitely don't think she needed to nerf in PvE. I think if anything, she needed to nerf in PvP a little bit, which might be a hot take. I'm sorry, don't want to upset the people, but yeah, I think this was definitely not necessary for PvE at least.
Okay. So when she gets nerfed for PvP, we'll be having the same discussion about
Pitchforks for
You'll
PJ.
be thanking me.
PJ.
She's gonna be so annoying. Like these extra turns on the A1, it's gonna be so toxic. And the other thing is, it kind of breaks her in PvE now if you can't get an extra turn against the boss because you need that extra turn to cycle through. Like you need the 3 turns, and now that you can't get anything, she should at least get 1 extra turn against the boss. Like why is it 0? Like it's
right.
dumb.
Like I said, I think they went too far. Jay, what about you?
Yeah, so I was like, man, once again, another situation. They let us know, hey, we're gonna rebalance, right? Because it's not a rebalance. We're gonna rebalance this champion, and it's gonna be not crazy. Don't worry, we're not gonna affect her PvP. It's only gonna be PvE. But then when you start looking at videos, you see people streaming and testing it on the test server. You're noticing, whoa, the numbers have gone down, and this is not in PvE. This is in like live arena or classic arena, and you're like, you said in the notes, it's only PvP. You're not really adjusting too much, and it's okay if you adjust an A1. It's a triple hitter. It shouldn't be blowing people up anyways. But her A3, A2, don't touch that. Now the A3 was, I saw like in the beginning was like 800,000 to a million, which is crazy. No one should hit it that hard. Not even, I don't think Leo hits for like 500, 600 so thousand. So like, oof. If they I've heard already saying people that there is already damage multipliers like reduced on all three skills. Her A2 is still going to hit hard, even if you reduce her multipliers, because if you hit that condition, you're going to ignore 99% of defense. It don't matter what champion you are. That basically means you have 1% defense, you're going to die. So you're going to do a lot of damage with the A2 if you get that 99% instead of the normal 33. But what I've heard from people when I was streaming yesterday, and I've seen Cruisins and someone else's, the testing on a test server, she has actually got nerfed in PvP, which is not like, why do you get it? I don't know why Plarium does that. Like, why tell us like, hey, look, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it. Okay, don't say you're gonna do this, but then you're also doing this. Shadiness is another reason why people like get mad, bro. I'm like, just be transparent. I'd rather you tell me, look, we're scammers, and I just need you to buy this back so we can hit quota. No, for real. No, for real. I'd rather you just say like, yo, I'm a scammer, and can you help me get this quota? I might be like, you know what? I'm gonna help you out because you're being honest. But no one likes. Like, have you noticed just in this year how much stuff has got exposed in the real life? Right, so many like situations. I don't want to go too political, but it's crazy because the world is so dark. It's like, bro, don't add more to it. Where you've already had stuff last 7 years of you trying to like do PRs and all this stuff to just be like, look, we're nerfing her in general because she's just too strong. Okay, that's it. It's fine. Right. She's Rotos 2.0. And another reason why a lot of Void champions, guys might be wondering, like, why do they nerf them? Because they're Void, right? Some compared to these are affinity based. You can get you can get them easier versus a Void champion. You got people swiping trying to get +4, Titus or other stuff. I'm just saying in general. They're not that champion, but that's what people do. So you don't want to touch something that gets you a lot of value, where something else you could just pull 200 ancients if you're free to play. You might even get 2 copies of a character or during a BOGO, right? So I think that's why they. When it comes to affinity-based champions, you've noticed a lot of them. Usually, she basically came out as a Void, so they were like, "Whoa, she's affinity-based. She gotta tone down a little bit. She can't be that crazy." But let's see. A test server is still a test server. It doesn't mean it's gonna hit the live servers. So let's see what happens on Monday if they give us an announcement if they're actually gonna reduce those multipliers in PvP. Because if they do, she's gonna be still okay, right? Just one sheep can win a game, one extra turn can win you a game, one can win a game, ignoring Stone Skin, which she does have, if you hit the condition, can win you a game. So, but she's just not going to be as crazy, right? That's what they need to test. That's why they need to be transparent. That's pretty much, right. More of the story.
I will say when this all came out about the nerf and stuff, right? One of the biggest things that really, really pissed me off is they were just like, hey guys, don't feed too much into it, don't discuss it, don't this, we're not sure what we're going to do,
don't make us look bad.
Basically right, don't feed into this, don't spread this. And it was one of those things where it's like, wait a minute, the fusion's live in game, you're talking about changing or rebalancing, whatever you want to call this is going to be, and you want the player base to start using the shards. And I'm like, you have to get in front of this. Like, and I'm sure that Jay and both Gessel will sit here and tell you, like, I was rampant in content creator chat. I'm like, you can't do this. You need to address this. And the specific example I used was, look, you did a guarantee for Fortis with 80, 90 shards, whatever the hell it was. You said, hey, just to let you guys know, we're doing this. He's going to get rebalanced in the future. We're not sure how, but at least this way the player base can go into this and proceed with caution. You can't just say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and address it after the fact, right? That's the big problem.
Yeah, Fortis got rebalanced from the Master Vault of Dreams to the Reserve Vault of Trash.
I mean, he does bring some fears, and it's good for faction wars. That's about it. But with that said, that was kind of one of my biggest things. Like, that was pissing me off so much. And they're just like, well, does it help? Does it make sense to put that out there and not have... I'm like, yeah, it really does. It really does. Because at least then, if I'm going for it and I know she's going to be changed, I know that I'm getting myself prepared for this. I think the backlash wouldn't have been as much. That said, King, do you think they went too far with the change? Did they overreact?
No, man.
Wait, did you just say
short,
no?
short. No, I said, oh man, because I'm loading up.
Okay.
Long story short, I'm gonna say no. I don't think they went too far.
So you
I
think
think
they
this
should have gone
is.
further?
I think that this is pretty much become their standard operating procedure since G-Nut. G-Nut to me was the last S tier purposeful, overpowered fusion champion.
Titus?
I think everything after that has come out has been discovered and they've kind of been forced to roll with it. And some of it's been great for the game, some of it's been bad for the game. But G-Nut was the last fusion where they were like, we are releasing this champion to take over for Coldheart, who is a void rare, by the way. So they're like, we'll give him a spirit enemy max HP. You know, Fire Knight is tough, one of the toughest dungeons. And to piggyback onto what PJ said, the reason that I think that there's such an aura around hard Fire Knight not being solo, they don't want people to be able to solo it, is because you have to hit Fire Knight 21 times to drop its shield on hard 10. And then you have to simultaneously maintain keeping the shield down with turn meter through frost. We use ally attacks. You can use counter attacks. If you know the strats, you know the strats. I'm not going to bore you with that. But the problem with one champion doing it in Plarium's eyes is kind of the same thing that we all were talking about April not too long back, which is if Plarium keeps releasing these broken, fucked up champions that can solo all the content in their game, then people aren't going to spend money for the new champions because they don't need them.
Right.
And that's bad for business. And while I think that hard Fire Knight is not current content and it should not be gate kept and like be this, like, I agree with you, PJ. Emphasis, keep it short. I agree with PJ. Hard Fire Knight should not be this crazy thing like everybody gets stuck on to get Marius, and like people are freaking out because I don't have a Padraig, I don't have Mikage, I don't blah blah blah. Like, it's old content. And like we talked about last weekend, like some of the shit should just be instant run at this point. Like it's ridiculous. And so I don't think they went too far. I don't know what the multipliers are going to add out to. I don't know what the official changes are for me to have an opinion fully to say if they went too far or not. I do think that they panicked. I do think that, you know, something that I had to learn really early on when I started streaming was, you know, watch my mouth and watch what I do and watch what I say and watch the opinions that I put out there, because the internet's forever and people aren't going to let you forget. So if I have to sit here and not run my mouth and be accountable for the things that I put out there, then Plarium should be accountable for the things that they put out there. And I'm sorry, if you're not going to test your game and you're not going to test your product, and then you're going to be crying because your player base is pissed off at you for debating them again or feeling like they're getting debated, even if the rework is fine, right? It just feels deceitful. It feels dishonest. It feels wrong. And that's the problem. It's not reworking a broken champion. Who the hell wants to play a game where, oh, if you don't have Ninja, if you didn't play when Ninja came out, then you're screwed. Nobody wants to play that game. But
Right.
if they're like, hey, if you don't have a G-Nut, your life is going to be harder, but it's not impossible. But then it's like, hey, if you don't have Sanguine Maria, you're cooked. You're screwed. Have fun pulling for that. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to play that game. So I think that they just need to pull their heads out of their ass and test their game a little bit, because I'm tired of content creators having to do it for them and then having to take the heat because they don't know how to min-max their own product.
Right. I think, you know, at this point, I don't think there's anybody out here in the community that's going to say, you know, the monkeys, you've got from that third party company. The 5 bananas you're paying them a day isn't enough for them to do their job. Obviously, they're just looking at pretty colors, making sure that it hits 3 times and that's it. Let's get somebody in there that can actually that plays the game, that knows what the game is all about, and can see some of this stuff becoming an issue. I think if there were less instances where the game is broken, we'd have a much happier player base. So, Plarium, hire Bronco. That's literally it. Just hire Bronco.
Farbsoft and Bronco, if they hired those 2 guys, I think 75% of the bitching about Raid Shadow Legends would disappear overnight.
So true. So true. So true. There's, I'm even going to throw Saf in there because Saf does have some valid points. I know some people are not a huge fan of him.
Trending teams aren't hard.
some of the points that he has are valid, of course, but I will say, like, they definitely need to have people that play the game actually tested, not people that are, oh, it's the game that has all the ads that we watch on YouTube. That's Raid Shadow Legends, even though they're sitting right there playing it right then and there, and they have no idea.
Right, and they get mad at you guys too. Like, that's the craziest thing for me, being on the outside. Like, I'm right outside the veil, right? I'm just some guy in my house on a camera streaming on Twitch. I'm not in the content creator program. But, like, they get mad at you guys. Like, Ash, Scratch, I'm name dropping. I don't care, right? Come for me. You guys put out videos, and then you guys had to quickly react to Plarium telling you guys to take your content down. Like, ooh, dude, we fucked up. You got to delete that. And then who has to pay for that? Who has to look dishonest to their community?
Right.
Everybody knows Plarium's a bunch of not great at what they do. And now Ash has to make a response video like, hey, sorry, like, Plarium spanked me because I finally wanted to be ahead on the news, and then they turned around and said, no, you can't do that. Scratch puts out a video and he's like, hey, like, Scratch tries to do a lot for the community. He's not always right, but he does his best. Then he has to take it down. You put out an awesome video, and then you have to take it down. Like, go follow and subscribe on his YouTube, by the way. Blazing.
I didn't take mine down. I left mine up.
Like,
let's be
you
honest.
didn't?
They did not ask.
Oh,
me
hell
to
yeah,
take mine
dude!
down.
Fight the power, dude.
I left mine on, and I was very. As you all know out there, my wife is a lawyer, and one of the things that I've always learned is CYA. So I pushed as far as I could without actually talking about the bullet point and what we weren't allowed to talk about. So I put the information out there, but I didn't cross that line. I just very closely skated to that gray.
Yep.
That was
I'll stop ranting. I could go, but I'll stop. I'm sorry, boys.
But I guess in the end, Sanguine Maria is the fusion. I'm still doing it. Hopefully, you guys are still doing it too. Again, for the future, Plarium, just try not to overreact. Try to get the testers to do it before they do it. And if you feel like something isn't working right, then just even if you just come out and tell us, hey guys, we're going to change your skill kit. Just be aware. Don't sink all your resources in to Booker and this and that, or maybe just wait. That would be okay. But I'm going to, I guess, take a little comment here from Deacon Armstrong over on the Twitch side. Who really needs Sanguine Maria if you have a +4 Deacon Armstrong, right? He just does the same thing for you. I don't know. Now that's a big old dad joke. All right, let's change a little bit here and talk about some of the frustrations of the player base and why a lot of people out there are currently quitting Raid and saying, we're kind of done, we're not coming back, and that's it. I've got 5 topics here, and I really want to hear from you guys what you think, both chat and the creators here on the panel. So the first one, or coming in at number 5, is poor communication and community trust erosion. What the players say is developers' responses are slow, patch notes are vague, and roadmaps promises aren't reliably delivered. Community feedback feels ignored. I have to say, this is one of the most echoed just feelings out there, right? It feels like we're not being heard. The communication, I mean, everybody has been asking, where's the Leo Path event? Where's the Leo Path event? We've got one coming up tomorrow. And it's like last minute after everybody put their videos out there, had recorded them. Oh, guys, that's not the Leo event. We're gonna hold off to that. We're not telling you when it is, but yeah. So that said, you know, is this something you guys hear a lot of your viewership, of your player base that you interact with? Is this one of the reasons why they're saying I quit? Let's start off with PJ.
Yeah, definitely a big one. I think honestly, the whole TMNT thing got screwed when it got leaked early on, and it just went downhill from there. I think Plarium just didn't know what to do, and if people knew what was coming, then they would save their resources, and Plarium doesn't like that, so they had to like try to throw us off, but still say that the things were coming, but make it so it felt like it wasn't coming, like to try to make people to pull their resources so they wouldn't just save for the guaranteeds. So I think the whole thing with that really like started us off on a bad foot for that. But yeah, as far as like the player in general, they're known for not being good with feedback or like being quick with it. But I would say recently it had been a little bit better, not with the TMNT thing, but like with the Sangria Maria thing. I mean, it happened pretty quick. Like they came in and said, hey, this is what we're doing. They gave like a statement, and the statement read pretty well. It was written well. They also did that, I think, another fusion or something recently. They I forgot, we talked about a podcast, but I forgot what it was, but I remember we said they had to come in and do it quickly. Was it Titus?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and they did that as well. I think they came in and they're like, we're not going to change them, or whatever they did. So they have gotten a little bit better, but yeah, I think just the general feeling is it could be, they need to be more clear. But it's tough. They like us. I think they like us being in the shadows, and they like us not knowing. And maybe it needs to be like a company mind switch of like, it's okay to let them into a little bit of what we're planning. Like, I don't think it's gonna, the savers are gonna save and the spenders are gonna spend. Maybe a few would switch it up, but I think it would just be a good overall healthy thing for the community to know a little bit more.
Right. You know, 100%. I think it was not last week, but the week before, we discussed a little bit about some of the reasons why Plarium is so secretive about what they do, or in that corporate kind of setting. So yeah, I one of the biggest reasons I hear here is that they just don't feel like they're being listened to, or they're taking anything back. Zero, what about you?
Well, I thought it was very interesting that PJ said that that's how that's how shadows got into that. They want to keep us in the shadows on the communications. That's how they
oh yes,
that word in the game. No, I think honestly, I'll sum this up in two things that I think Plarium is doing wrong. Is one, we've seen in the past where they've actually weaponized their communications when they over communicate, and it raises the level of FOMO for the player base and stuff like that, and then just bad or mismanaged communication. So I think those are two separate, distinct things, and bad and mismanaged can turn into a weaponized communication, or create that FOMO. You know, perfect example is them releasing in the Google store the events and with dates and everything that we knew were coming, right? So I think you know, again, at the end of the day, this is a gotcha game, and you know, with gotcha games, there are going to be gotcha communications. I think that they just need to be better about being a little bit more transparent about some of these things, and or whenever they screw up, they need to own it and just come right out and just say it, instead of creating 13 layers of shadow communications on top of where they screwed up. You know what I mean? Like,
own your fuck up.
Yeah,
they hate saying they're wrong.
Exactly.
They always like, it wasn't us. It was something else.
We pay the bills. Quit screwing us over. I get it. You think you're making more money by screwing us over, but that's, you know, eventually one of these days it's going to bite them in the ass, and this game is going to die. Now, you know, people have been saying that for 5 or 6 or 7 years now, and I hope that's not the case, because I love playing the game. And, you know, maybe I'll go 10, 15. Maybe this is the next EverQuest or WoW, that the game came out in the 90s and it's still going, right? But
I
you know, they got to be very careful.
WoW didn't come in the 90s, just by the way.
What?
Warcraft, but
What'd you say?
Well, Warcraft did, but not World of
me
Warcraft.
next.
EverQuest came out in the 90s.
Yes. That's how we know we're old.
OG. Yes.
Kopi, what about you, man? I mean, I know you were somebody that left and came back. You know, is this something that you hear a big echo in your clan and your player?
All the time? Yeah, it's pretty much the main thing that I rant about in my streams. Is just so the problem that we're talking about, right, is the communication and the lack thereof and transparency. But I think what the real issue is consistency. The consistency of their transparency. How come it felt so good during the Tholen event, with the coalition event, where they were like, this is the roadmap, these are when the champs are coming, this is how long the event dungeon's going for. I mean, obviously the event dungeon sucked, right? And we all talked about that to death. But like, as far as, you know, Tholen, you know, and if you do all of these quests and events for him, then you're going to be able to get all these rewards. We knew what we were getting into when you signed up to go for Tholen and during that event. You knew what the rewards were at the end. You knew if you got all the champions, you were going to grab the frame and the blah, 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 and the relic and all these things. And I think that what happened was, like PJ said, the spenders spent, the savers saved. The savers got the things that they wanted, and the spenders got everything else. And now when you take like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle event, which the demographic of this game, like we're all, you know, dads or at least dad age for the most part, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is pure nostalgia. I mean, this is a heavily male dominated game base. Not saying that women don't play the game, and I have plenty of viewers that are female, so I don't want to take away from them, but for the most part, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was peddled to boys when we were young, and it's something that is nostalgia, and it's like, well, I can get a little bit of that from my childhood, and I can get it into adulthood now. So the problem is, we're coming to the end of the event, dude. Like, it's over. It's ending. Where is the Leo information? And why doesn't it exist? Like, why do I have to sit here and hold? Why do I have to suspend a Halloween fusion, which is one of the best that come year after year? Why do I have to debate going for the Halloween fusion or saving for Leo? And the mental thought is, well, Leo is here and then he's gone forever. I can pull a fusion. Right. And that sucks to have to think like that. Like, I think that they just need more consistency in their announcements, more consistency in their transparency. And I don't need to know everything. You want to have shadows, you know, get it. Like, live in it. Live your truth, but tell the truth and give your player base the information that they need to make an informed decision. Don't make us have to scramble at the last second. And I just want to make this point, and I'll shut up after this. Tomorrow, when the event starts, there is a bonus on primal shards for points. I am tinfoil hat full on engaged right here when I say this. I think they're going to do a ×2 primal coming up soon, and they want you guys to burn your primals. 100%. So take the hard path and do not use your primals so that you can get these mythical champions that you, I say this with love, cry about not having.
Okay. Jay, real quick, what about you, man? Is this something you hear from the community all the time, a reason why they quit? Just a lack of communication, trust?
Of course, it's one of the top reasons. There's a lot of reasons, and we went through some of them on the previous podcast that I was here. This is just a normal player thing. It's kind of something we've gotten adjusted to over the years. You know, they have been a little bit, I should say, it's very rare. They only listen when they realize, oh, we can use what people have said, either in CC chat or somewhere else. We found a way to take that and make it profitable, right? It's not something for us to have fun. This is supposed to be a game. It's not supposed to be a job. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be something you're supposed to come off and be like, oh, it's time to play Raid. Like, you don't want to be like, I'm locked in for Raid. Got to put 6-8 hours. Oh boy. Like, you don't want it to be like that. Poor communication and trust. Like, I trust them at this point, right? Because you were saying, like, one good thing, they're good at being themselves, right? So I trust them to keep doing the player way, because I know, being kind of long, you just know that's what they're gonna do. And you would think after the MTG whole, situation, I think they just unfortunately they like to hide in the shadows, you know. They like to give you just enough, but then it's not really. It's like, oh well, here's the hero's path, and you're like, all right, cool, but oh, wait, that's not the hero's path, you know. It's
Right.
just the hero's. It's kind of like that. It's like,
Right,
what?
right.
Just be straight up. Just be straight up and go, hey guys, it's not gonna be Leo. It's gonna be this one. We have something else planned for you. You can actually take something that's less information and make it hype. What if I told you, like, I'm not saying playing with this hashtag raid could never, right? But what if this other game was like, hey, we're gonna do a special event where it's gonna be like a BOGO, right? Where you can pull your ancients, but there's gonna be a special champion that you'll get. Everyone will get. And so you can take information, you can take like language and make it hype. You know, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you know, like that's their problem. Like their communication is like, we're releasing new champions, cool, things are coming out. You're just like, okay, well, let's see what it is. Or Fusion's coming out. Okay, Fusion, I wonder what the points are going to be. No information about that. You got to wait to see if the points are going to be insane for you to go for it. So,
Right.
yeah, that's a main thing. And when as someone who plays other games, their communication is straight up. If they mess up within the day, it's fixed. Everyone gets like gems or resources, and everything's back to normal. Right? It's like quick. It's insanely. Man, I have been saying hashtag raid for could never more than I even say probably my own name or like it's crazy. I've been saying it like for the past 4 or 5 months because it's mind blowing how they get away with so much stuff while other companies don't. They don't throw it under the rug. They don't. It's just plain as day. And if they do miscommunicate, they always give people like, "Hey, we messed up. Here you go," and they take the L and they give rewards in the mailbox to everybody. That's what you just gotta do. Just take the L, bro. You already got the money. Just take the L. Like, there's no problem. Like, you're already winning.
I agree.
I miss
I think-
promo codes so fucking much, dude.
I'm gonna echo something here that Modern Thinker said over on the Twitch side. I feel like MTG bought Plarium to learn how to become more like Plarium, not to change Plarium's ways. I think he's right. You know, I know that was one of the biggest things that they said in their acquisition is saying, hey, we want to learn how they're being so successful, right? That's a guess though. Is this something you hear a lot from the, you know, the viewers, the community out there? I quit because they just don't communicate. They don't tell us anything anymore.
I don't hear people quitting because of that specific reason, though I do hear people complaining about it constantly, and it is the worst. Like, watch your realms, and again, I play very, very loosely, free to play. I don't keep up with anything. Like, I don't follow any content creators there. I don't know anything. I just know what people loosely come in to chat and tell me about. And my H2K, a guy I work with, is very into it. So he normally keeps me up to speed. But they give you a full month, if not 6 weeks, snapshot of what they're planning on doing.
Yep.
And hang on to your chant, hang on to your summons for this weekend, or this weekend. What is wrong with that?
I know.
Like,
I know.
It seems so easy. Now, on the flip side, right, like, things can always change. Like, if you've worked for a company, stuff happens, right? And things got to change. Now, this isn't a typical company. These things can very easily be mapped out and lined up, and they should be, right? Like, come on, they got plenty of people working there. They should easily have people that can, like, get this stuff managed and lined up well. So, not that that's an excuse. So, it is blatant. To me, it is blatant FOMO. They just don't want to let you know. They don't want to let you know. They want to keep you in the dark, in the shadows, as we're all saying now. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Be transparent. It's working for other games. Just do it. Just do it.
So what are the other reasons that a lot of the players are quitting or have expressed why they're quit, or, you know, have expressed some issues with, is broken and unbalanced PvP matchmaking systems. PvP matchmaking system is inconsistent, whether it's live arena, 3v3. You have a lot of teams that are kind of just dead accounts that are just rolling down into earlier ons, preventing you from climbing. It feels very unbalanced. And then, you know, there are some exploits that people use. I'm not going to name any specific ones here because I don't want somebody to use them and say, I use them because, Blazin said it on the podcast and whatnot. Obviously, any exploit you use, be prepared to be banned if you do decide to go that way. Just an FYI, not supporting them. Don't do it. But is this something? I mean, I know that live arena matchmaking was a big thing. PvP, Siege matchmaking is a big thing. Not Hydra, but CVC that we just had was another one because you can always rig on who you play. That said, PJ, is this something that you hear as an echo from the community about, their frustration and saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of this.
A little bit, but I feel like this is just like a mindset thing. Like, it's a gotcha game. I feel like every game we play, there's not many good matchmaking games out there. And then especially when you bring into something like this where it's a gotcha and you have money, it's tough. Like, there's not really, I think, any great way of balancing or match. I think the matchmaking they have is decent. They try to go for a 50% win rate. I feel like they try to force you 50%, which is all right. I mean, you're winning half, you're losing half.
Unless
But yeah, I definitely hear
95%.
Huh?
Unless you're crypto and you're 95%.
Right. Crypto's not average. I was average person.
Crypto's average, PJ. Wake up.
Yeah, I mean, if he's average, then I gotta go, guys. But yeah, I think it's more of like a mindset thing. I think people like everything else in the game is based on some, because we talked about this in my chat the other day, and so I forgot who said this, but they made a great point. Everything else in the game is based off of like 100% win rate. Like if it's or 100% like crit rate. Like if you don't have 100% win rate in dungeons, like it's not good, or like as close to 100% as possible. And then you have arena where now 100% is or 50% is now like the new 100%, and I just think like people aren't used to that. So yeah, I think it's a mindset issue. I don't necessarily think it's like a Teleria issue. Like, yeah, they could try to make the matchmaking better, but at least for live arena, I do think they need to fix the Clash or the CVC matchmaking. That's bullshit. Get rid of PR or not get rid of non-PR, make everything PR, and they could like change how that is. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's more of the player base issue than raid issue.
Okay. Zero, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think PJ just hit the nail on the head. You can't balance something when you throw money at it, right? So, it kind of just is what it is when it comes to this. I don't know if people are necessarily putting the game for this. I do think since this is the topic, the one thing we talked about is the caps that they have on certain areas, like the gold tag team arena and stuff like that. It's only like a set number, and they keep adding more and more players to the game. Now, granted, it's probably a small fraction of those players that are trying to get to those top levels, but I would say today, 5 or 6 years into it, those top levels have more people trying for it than they did 5 years ago, right?
Right.
So I would really like for them to look for maybe a percentage of the total player base, and it could be a percentage of the total player base like actively playing or something like that, versus people who've created multiple accounts to get a free champion or whatever. Like, I think you should certainly exclude accounts that have not been logged into for 30 days, let's just say, for something like that.
Right.
But active accounts getting played every day should count as a percentage.
Okay.
So that's what I think I would suggest Plarium do to change that.
I want to hear from chat. Is this a frustration that you have, the unbalanced matchmaking in the PvP modes, right? Any clash modes, any competitive modes? Is this one of the issues you currently have with the game? And is it one that is currently borderline getting you to say, you know what, I might just delete this off my phone or my computer? King,
I just want to add one more thing to that. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I do want them to also, now that we have relics in the game, they need to somehow tell us what's happening a little bit better with those fights.
Battle logs.
Yeah, data logs are just something over the head of them.
It'd be cool to know afterwards, but I don't mind not knowing during it. I don't mind having some surprise to my fights.
King already has too many things to try to get, and it's like me, when you have a peanut brain, you can only focus on one thing, right?
I can't even hit 100% crit most days, dude. I'm doing my best here, dude. What is speed gear?
I'm I'm gonna pass this over to you. Let's try to keep our answers going because we got about 30 minutes left. So
Yep. I'll keep it short, dude. So I don't think people are quitting over PvP. I think people who bitch about PvP just don't do it. I think that PvP has areas that do need to be fixed, but I don't think it's anything that's like worth quitting the game over. People are used to, like PJ said, getting 100% win rate in all these areas, and they auto those. So why can't they auto arena? And it gets them hooked up, it gets them stuck. And so you need to turn off the auto. You need to read your champion's kits. You need to find some synergies, and you need to get in there and get some W's. And you need to stop crying when people have gear sets you don't have that you can only get from doing PvP. Like, it's not, this isn't brain surgery. You know what I mean? Like, I know PvP sucks. You guys watch me lose all the time, but you guys also watch me get wins, and you watch me pull that gear and roll it too. So you're not going to win every time. Wake up.
Right.
It's a part of the game. Play it.
That's a fair point. Jay, what about you?
In terms of like live arena and classic arena and tag team, it's not that bad as it used to be. It used to be really, really bad. They've found ways to balance it a little bit. Of course, you're always going to come across a Kraken or Cthulhu that has way better their account than you. Then just leave. Just queue up again. The main thing is, man, oh my gosh, these clashes are they've destroyed clans. They've destroyed relationships within raid. They just need to remove it. Or there should be an option, in my opinion, players should think about this. Allow the clan, if that week they want to participate in a Hydra clash or a Chimera clash. You won't get those resources. Now, people do because of the accessories is gated. Why even do that, right? So that whole concept is unfair. Why not add the accessories to the artifacts and make it like less chance? But no, right? I think it should be that. It's where people are not forced to, like, even content creators and other people have been like, oh, I have to do my Hydra. I gotta do this, or I'm gonna get this. I just got a message random from a clan that I don't even know that they just kicked out a general because the person missed it like by a few points. It's like, bro, that's crazy.
Right.
They've been at the clan for 5 years, but that's what I would do. I think Raid's balance overall has been pretty okay compared to when it first released Live Arena. It was horrible. But it's a little bit better now, but it's just those two modes, especially Siege. My clan has lost Siege 4 in a row, and we're not fighting anyone easier. 2 Russians and 2 top clans is crazy for a clan that doesn't even go hard. Like, I don't know why.
Tell them to stop using arena speed leads, man.
Exactly, yeah. But that's all I have to say. So they're doing better. They just need to, adjust some stuff. But I think they should just remove clashes, in my opinion. But
okay. Hey, let me just give a big shout out here to Mr. Bick and Airfern, two content creators who were playing Raid Shadow Legends and no longer are. I think we're going to have him soon back on the podcast to find out what life is like after Raid Shadow Legends, because both of them have been gone for about 3 months now. So I think that's a pretty good time to see what life
They
is
seem happy,
on
dude.
the other side.
They seem happy.
Gessel, what about you, man? Do you think, is this a complaint you hear about the PvP aspect, the matchmaking aspect being unbalanced?
I definitely hear complaints about it. Again, I don't feel like it's a reason why people are leaving, at least on the live arena side. Good point by Jay there. I think I've definitely heard people leaving because of the clashes, like just getting fed up with it, having to run too much, or leaving their clans at least because they don't want to run multiple Tronic keys or something like that. So yeah, I think that's a good point. But in terms of live arena, I think it's mostly like the kind of arena side of things. I haven't heard anyone leaving because of that specifically. The matchmaking has certainly gotten way better in season. I think out of season, it's really awkward, and maybe there's just not as many people playing out of season. But in season, I think it's awesome. It's perfect. Like, you're facing people who are pretty much right where you're at in the season. It should be competitive. Pretty much every fight. Again, you're gonna fight. You have to fight Crypto. Crypto's got to fight somebody, right? So you're gonna run into. typically it's Nastya running it, so it's typically a her running it, although it is a gentleman that owns it. So you gotta run into her, but it's whatever. Take your licks, learn from it, see what they're running, see what kind of the super meta is right now. Like that's kind of what I look at it. But no one really quitting. I think they've actually improved in that area. So I'm gonna say maybe on the Clash side earlier, but I don't think so recently because of Arena.
Okay. Moving on to the next one, which is content bloat with poor pacing and time sinks. Basically, summing this down is we just spend too much time doing too many things in game. And I guess, Player's already told us you don't have to do everything, but they've structured it in a way where if you don't, you FOMO and you fear of like, what am I going to miss and what is this?
Dude.
What could this have gotten me, right? So what do the players say? Too much time, content layered on top of existing systems without reducing the grind for other stuff, weeklies, dailies, tasks, require many hours to stay competitive, right? Hydra classes, Chimera clashes. We know a lot of us have to manual those if you want to be competitive. So, chat, I feel like this is probably one of your biggest complaints, that there's just too much to do. And do you really buy the excuse that Plarium says, well, you don't have to complete everything. You don't have to do everything. Let's go to PJ first. Let's try to keep our answers a little short. I know we're running low on time here, so.
Yeah, I think that this is something that people complain about and are causing to leave, but I feel like Plarium is trying to implement some things to help it out. And the biggest issue is, and we talked about this again, I've said this in the past, but new things make money. Fixing and making old things quicker doesn't make money. And Plarium's a business, and they want to make as much money as they can. So it's like the sexy stuff versus the non-sexy stuff. It's the stuff that like would help the community, but wouldn't really help them. So it's I don't know, I feel like Plarium sees us as just like walking dollar signs, and they need to see us as like half walking dollar signs and half humans, kind of like we are humans too. Like we are people, they are people. Like it's not just strictly Raid Shadow Legends. Like they're people, we have lives and stuff outside the game as well. And I think they kind of forget about that. They think it's like the Raid is life and the world. And I know we joke about Raid is life, but yeah, I mean, it would be nice for them to kind of keep looking at making the game a little bit quicker and speeding it up a little bit, because we talked about this in the past. Again, there's been, and like years ago, there was not enough to do in the raid. People would say, I'm bored, there's not enough to do, there's not enough events, there's not enough things happening. And that's way worse. I'd rather have more stuff going on and pick and choose than have nothing going on and be like, what are we doing? But yeah, this is something that the people talk about, I think, and it is an issue for people leaving, is there's just so much to do, and it's supposed to be like a mobile game.
Right. An example I'll give here is I was on Discord hanging with King last night and another content creator, and I won't say their name, but they missed out on the Titus fusion because they decided to have a life and go on holiday, and it's like they probably could have logged on their mobile game or their phone and done it, but they just rather enjoy the holiday. So it makes it a little challenging when you're trying to do other things and trying to balance life and raid. And then if you look at Prime Skelador right now, he says, honestly, you don't have to do everything. I usually skip fusions, but my account is so behind because of that, right? Jay, what about you, man? Is this something you hear all the time?
Yeah, I mean, like what PJ said, right? Like back then we had nothing. So then the player tried to give us a lot, and now people are complaining there's too much. It's like you can't. You
got what we asked for
on the player base. It's like, no, you can't complain about one thing and then they give it to you, and then complain that they gave it to you. So that is one thing on the player base they gotta take to the chin, because it's the truth of what happened there. But in terms of the glow like content, I'm gonna only say one thing. Doom Tower, I can solo normal Doom Tower with any champion I chose. There should be no reason why. Like, I can understand hard Doom Tower, but normal, I can solo with your support. There's no reason why I have to climb that. That is the most stupid excuse. While guess what? In another game, The developers went, "Oh, you guys are complaining about that?" Within 2 weeks, they have instant Doom Tower. The moment it resets, you click on it and it goes and runs it for you in like 10 seconds, gives you all the resources. Now you can go farm hard Doom Tower in that game. You don't have to do normal. Good communication. Players said something, they took the feedback, put into the game. You didn't have to spend money to do that. Easy. So
Right.
if they want to fix content bloating, player knows what they want to do. But just like MX said, bro, it's not gonna help out. You know, they gotta take people who have trouble, who are not 3-4 headed. They gotta make sure they milk them a little bit. You know.
Right.
A lot of it.
Zero, I know this is a problem for you with a new job and everything, man. Like, you have a difficult time trying to complete everything, especially because you're a completionist. So, just try not to go half an hour into an answer.
My quick answer is, I mean, I've answered this before, but this is if you were to come to me and say, okay, what one thing would get you to quit this game? And it's honestly this. And I want to say that I feel like these last, of course, we get the TMT event going on, but we've also had like 8 or 9 or 10 other champions come in through this, and they are giving us a chance for their souls as well. So I don't want to crap on Plarium for this, but it all seems like a huge drain for the Leo situation. And I feel like this is the most they've crammed into one point in time, and I'm completing all that stuff, but I'm giving up stuff like Live Arena and stuff like that. So it's gotten to the point now where I feel like I can't do the game, and then I'm going for all these damn champions, and when am I going to ever build them and use them? I want to make the content, but I don't have time to actually enjoy the game. I have to spend all what time I do have with my new job and all doing the stuff, and then of course streaming and stuff like that too. And I even actually mentioned this to the stream last night, and they thought it was like a breakup situation. They're like, "Oh, this sounds like it's a me, not you thing." And no, and it was a huge joke, but I have to reflect on not seeing my own family and whether or not I need to complete every damn thing in Raid, right? So,
Right.
but the Titan event thing is a perfect excuse. Hey, if you take a holiday and you miss this one thing, now you're screwed out of being able to do this one thing in the game. So the FOMO is real.
Right. King, what about you? Content bloat. Is this one of the things you hear all the time about players? Like, hey, I'm done. It's just I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, man. I'll talk about this till I'm blue in the face, but I'll keep it short. I've been saying it pretty much any chance I get. There's a ton of stuff to do in this game, and you don't need to do it all. But the way that they get you to keep playing the game is they mix everything in everything. So in order to complete anything, you have to complete everything. And the way that the game is, I haven't been doing anything this seasonal Live Arena because I got other stuff that I got to do, and I have to pick what's more important. Like I would, other people all they're playing is Live Arena, but it's like I don't have teams that can clear stuff in 7 seconds, so I have to devote 2 minutes per run to that. Like it's all about time. If you don't have the time, then you have to pick and choose. And like you have to just realize that like you are going to miss out on some stuff. Like people that are free to play, they can't just sit around and say, well, why can't we do everything? It's like because it's a game that is pay to win. Roblox is pay to win. You think Plarium gives a shit about you? Like
Whoa. Don't tell my son Roblox is pay to win. Bro, he'll be asking me for Robux. Let's not do that.
But I mean, it's just like I love the game, but I have to let some stuff go. Like I want to be in and I want to get my free prism pull so I can get my free epic, but I'm probably going to have to let that go, dude. And yeah, there's the FOMO of, but it could be a legendary. But I mean, dude, like I have to pick and choose, man. Like, and so do you. Like, it just is what it is, bro. Like, whatever's more important to your account, you got to do it. And I just want to touch on Modern Thinker real quick. A comment he said, remember having to watch full Demon Lord runs daily? I used to have to sit there when I got home from work and run Demon Lord back to back at 45-minute runs a piece, sitting there staring at the screen. And for an hour and a half, I'd be watching a Demon Lord battle. So, like, it could be worse, boys. It could be worse.
Well, that's also another great point you just bring up, and I feel like people don't do that. Is like we don't have to be sitting there staring at the screen. This is a great side game as well. Like you can play another game while you're playing Raid.
Right.
You can be
Gestel
watching
does it all the
YouTube.
time.
You can only really do that though while you're on a PC. Remember, this is a mobile game. right?
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be doing a lot of this stuff on a mobile,
You
not
go shower, you go to the bathroom, you go make food, you go eat, you get your laptop, I don't know.
Take a
Yeah,
poop,
have
dude.
laptop.
listen, there's a lot of players. I mean, Sus, who's in our chats all the time, our streams. This guy literally just got a laptop like a month and a half ago. Prior to this, for years, he was playing on mobile.
I'm pretty sure you can watch YouTube or Twitch and play right at the same time. Doesn't it pop up on like the top screen or something?
Yes, but again, it's still a lot of things you have to do. Like you have to sit there and watch it if you're at work or something like that.
You don't have to watch it.
Some of us do have
I
to
feel
work
like you're
55,
forcing.
60 hours
Why
a
you have to
week.
watch it?
Fair. Okay.
It is hard playing it on a phone, dude. Nobody takes away from that. Like, it is hard to play on a phone, and if you do that, you're a trooper, dude. If you're hanging in there playing Raid Shadow Legends on a phone in 2025, you are a different breed than I am. Because oh my god, I could not do it.
Right. Hey, big shout out to Alpha the Titan. Thank you for the raid, brother, of 23. Much appreciated, guys. If you're not following, go give him a follow over on Twitch. Gessel, what do you have to say about this, man? Is this something you hear all the time?
Yeah, I would say this is the biggest reason why people say they leave. They're just like, it feels like a job. It's too much. I've had enough, and yeah, I get it, right? Like it's not like to me, it's not a big deal. Like, I love the grindiness of it. So to me, it's not a big deal. I love opening, get the first thing I do in the morning, go to my computer, and like my eyes aren't even up, and I open up my thing, and okay, what champs are in the
Token trader.
Yeah, and the token trader. What did I get
the-
from Demon Lord?
yeah.
Like all those things, right? I like that. I really
Soul
like that
Merchant.
about the game. Yeah, the Soul Merchant. Thank you.
Yeah.
So to me, I like that. I like doing 100 runs and getting that one piece. I'm like, yes, I got a trip roll on this, or whatever. Like, I like that. So to me, it's not a big deal. But I know, I'm sure plenty of people hate that, and people don't like that type of game, and people aren't looking for that type of game. And when they get to that point in this game, and you get there quick, or it takes you a year or two, depending on basically on what you spend. Then you got to make the choice, right? Then you got to say, all right, am I going to commit? Am I going to keep committing to this or not? So, I understand why people leave it. I think that's the biggest reason, and I understand it.
I will say it is a bad thing that the first thing you do is you pick up your phone when you wake up, you're groggy eye, like, and you're looking at, all right, let me run my
computer, bro.
boss key.
Computer.
Let me.
Not even on the computer. I go to the
Literally
computer.
the
I don't
first
even
thing
do it on
I
the
grab
phone.
my phone. I'm like, all right, time to run Clown Boss. I got to be efficient. Yeah, I got to get all 4 keys in. Before the
Don't
raid
drive in
starts.
Raid Shadow Legends.
I'm literally holding the phone while doing that first morning pee, chewing on that clam boss. Let's go.
Dude, no wonder your
I'll
wife
admit it.
complains about you missing the toilet, dude.
I'll admit it.
All right. The next one is stagnant balance and stale meta. Players complain champion rebalances, balances updates are infrequent and superficial. New champions often overshadow the old ones without addressing the underlying power creep. I think this is definitely one of those things. Plarium tries to rebalance, maybe 1 or 2 champion every couple of months. I wish they would rebalance a lot of the older ones and bring them up to speed so that we can use them. Although the problem with that is, those champions that they do rebalance, once it goes into this new content, it's going to be way harder for us. Example, Mountain King and Faction Wars, he will destroy you, right? Jing Wong, exactly, too. So, but I mean, for a while, it was the Taurus Maruchka meta, right? Now we've got the block damage meta. Everybody's got to try to have that, so you got to try to beat that, which again makes it very, very stale, very stagnant. Like everybody's running the same player, the same champions. Although I will say the last couple of months, I would say the last 6 months, there's been a little bit more of a shakeup, but I'm noticing now there's a little more and more difference in like at least the arena ones on what we're gonna do for that. But for PvE wise, it's pretty much the same thing. You're running Trenda, you're running Titus, you're not changing much. So PJ, what you got?
Yeah, I don't think this is necessarily a reason why people are leaving the game. I think that, like, again, rebalancing old people don't make money. They do it way too slow. They should do more of it. There's always gonna be power creep in a game like this. It's a gacha game. They have to have power creep to get the game to move forward. And I kind of agree with you. I think that Arena recently has been kind of in a better state for is like meta wise. I think there's been more different usable things. You can go speed. I think go second is definitely very viable. They're adding relics that help out in both. So yeah, I think with the addition to relics, it's definitely making things switch up a little bit, and it's tougher to tell like what they have. So I think for Arena is actually getting into a little bit of a better state as far as like more versatility in the meta and Arena.
Okay. The only thing I will say for PvE content is that there are so many specific niche champions that we need to have to take on content or to be competitive that I feel like some of the other ones that are just not being used, if they were to buff them and bring them in, I think a lot of the player base that doesn't have those super end game champions, they could essentially do something with those, right? Just not leave them in the vault. Zero, what about you?
The PvE meta is getting stale, though. Sorry, the PvE meta is kind of stale with Trunda and then Titus is just the future is really annoying.
And that's what I mean. Like if there was another champion that can come in, a couple of other ones, I feel like on that aspect, we shouldn't have just one or two teams. There should be, 10, 15 different teams that we can run.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the whole argument is like, why bring 15 people up when you just bring Trunda and Titus down? It's like bring 2 champions down or 30 up.
It's always better to bring things up than bring things down. Remember, we want things buffed, not nerfed.
No, but I disagree. Like they're so. I mean, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, you can go
Zero. What about you, man? What are you gonna say?
Yeah, super fast. So I don't think this is making people leave the game. And I will say, if we already have an issue of them creating new champions and bringing them into the game that aren't tested, they damn sure aren't testing these buffs on some of this harder content for Faction Wars Hard because, like the Raglins and whatever, like they have their little niche things, like, I may or may not use them, or they'll sit in my vault 99% of the time. That's fine. And now they make these small little tweaks. And now it might be, okay, they stay in my vault 90% of the time, or they're viable in this one little area, or this is really cool. And now I can, dust this champion off. The problem is when they give them 10x on their HP, defense, and speed and crap and Faction Wars Hard. And it's like, oh my God, what just happened? Intentional. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I know it is. But yeah, I like that they at least are addressing older champions, especially for people who have a smaller champion pool. But I don't think this will make people leave the game. So I think you're good from that perspective.
Okay. Let's go to Jay next. Jay, is this something you hear that people get upset and say, you know what, I'm done because of this?
No, I don't think so. You might have the one guy, right? The one person, but like, no, like there's always something new you can go for. You can always play different, right? Me and Biohack are one of the best timid players like in the world. There's no one else who even is going to invest into a 3-star review champion, right? But I can use it to beat mythicals and stuff, and that's what's fun. The only thing that's not fun, right, that makes me sad is why can't I get more copies of the character that no one believes in and give me a +2 Timmy? Let me get a +4 Timmy. Let me like show off. Let me play different, right? You can't do that in this game. Yet in another game, within 2 days, I was able to max out, get the character and max it out. It's nuts. Like here, I to this day, I still have not pulled another Timmy, but I have pulled a +2. I have a +2 Arbiter, and people are like, "Cool, bro, +10. You're gonna get 10 speed." You know what I did? I vaulted it. I was like, "Screw your +2 Arbiter. I don't care." And just like that's not what I'm gonna use for. Like
Jay would do that.
It's crazy. No, there's other champions. Why am I gonna cookie cutter? Like, think about that. Why am I gonna cookie cutter? Like, who wants to play a game and just go like, "Hey, what are you using?" I'm gonna do the same. Like that's not fun. Like that's brainless in my opinion. But yeah, I don't think number 2 is why people are leaving.
Okay. King, what about you?
Nobody's quitting the game because of this. They need to give people time in order to acquire these champions and acquire these gear sets. Not everybody is just throwing money at it so that they can have it within the first 4 days that it's out in the game. So for the meta to always be shifting is important to the game, but they also have to give time for these sets that we are spending energy and things on to acquire to be useful. If there's not enough time to use it, there's no point in getting it. And so I think that, stagnant meta is a bit of an issue, like we've been in the stone skin for a long time now, but at the same time, the block damage. I've never got to play with meta arena champions in the meta. I got my Marishka way late in the game. Like I don't get to play meta PvP. So I don't mind things taking a little while, but what I do have a problem with is just when it is that way forever. I mean, do you remember Swift Parry? Oh my God, that went on forever, dude. Like,
Yep.
and now, but they are making changes, and in a game where everything's always changing and ever shifting, like we just need to be content with where things are at because it's not getting better. It's not getting better. So, like, if you think, oh, you're smoking that copium, and you're like, yeah, like they're gonna update it and it's gonna get great. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. What's the next thing that's coming that we're all going to be wishing we had that crypto has 1 million of? Like,
Right.
Chill out.
Okay. Gessel, what about you, man? Is this something you hear from the community that affects them and decides that, I'm kind of done, like I can't compete because of this?
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say this. I kind of feel like there is like for live arena at least, like the meta is in a pretty good place. Like there are so many counters to this, to that, to the other. Like I kind of like where it's at. Like people are, Cavalax has made a comeback. I don't know. I feel like it's at a better place than it's kind of ever been, really.
Okay. I mean, I will say PvP, the meta has definitely shifted. They've done a lot more things to change it up. PvE wise, though, I feel like it's really always been kind of the same thing.
I don't typically. Yeah, I don't comment great on PvE.
I'm not trying to. Who tryhards PvE though? Like really?
Well, yeah, people
need
do
to try hard PvE though.
Like,
to become
I mean,
better in
you
PvP.
get a fast team. Sure, you get a fast team, and that's awesome. But like at a certain point, your team gets fast enough where you're like, okay, I'm good. Like, I mean, unless you're just trying to hit that world leaderboard.
Yeah.
That's clan bosses, though. I don't see that as being
PvE content.
like dungeon. Yeah, I mean, it's PvE, but also there's the PvP aspect of there being clashes.
True. All right, and I think the number one reason has to be the pay to win progression and crushing monetization. It feels so hard to just say no, I'm not going to spend, but yeah. Players are saying endgame power gated behind high cost bundles, fusions, and guaranteed pulls. Free to play progression feels artificially slow and punishing. Basically, if you're free to play, unless you're investing 4 or 5 years and have an account like, someone like Boozer before getting the content creator program who was pushing Plat Arena, and Ken who was doing the same thing, it really feels like the monetization is just so much. You just push to buy, move to be competitive in this. And it's just a whole nother level to where, some other games now are kind of looking at it and saying, well, if they can do it, why can't we do it? We do, everything else that they're doing better, communicating, all of this. Let's start reaping in on this more, right? I'm curious, is this an issue for you guys, chat? Is the pay to win, the monetization, one of the biggest reasons why you guys are fed up and are saying, you know what, this is the final straw? Let me start off with PJ first.
Do you guys know the restaurant Moe's? You guys have Moe's? It's like a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, like Moe's Southwest.
Yeah. When you go in, you say, "Welcome to Moe's."
Yeah.
So this is like, welcome to Gacha Game. Welcome to Raid. Like, it's what you expect. Like, what else do you expect when you play a Gacha game? It's like,
yeah, this is the no shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, they're gonna try to get you to spend money. You don't have to spend money. It's all the way up to you. If you're feeling like it's too much, then take a break. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking breaks. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is just like what comes to the territory of a gotcha game is this kind of stuff. And the reason I feel like why Raid is so good is just like honestly, I feel like a lot of timing is they were kind of like the first, or not the first, but like they weren't the first gotcha. There was like Summer's War, but like with the graphics and like the complexity and just like the design and the timing, they said like the perfect storm. I feel like and just ran with
COVID
it.
also
Yeah,
killed it.
exactly.
Yeah.
The timing of COVID and their marketing. That's the thing that other games don't have. That this game does have is the marketing in this game is insane. So I feel like that's big reason why it exploded. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this to answer this question, I feel like this is it just comes to the territory of a gotcha.
Okay. Kopi, I'm getting messages here to have you check your Discord. Zero, what about you?
Yeah, I think this is a combination between number 1 and number 3, just for me personally. But I think they just have introduced so many more mechanics in the game, and I've reached my plateau of what I'm willing to spend. Pretty much. I mean, I do spend a little bit here and there, but I go and get the champions, and then I'm looking at it going, oh great, I got all these awesome champions. When am I going to take the time to actually build them and use them? Right? And it's like, well, I
You're
have an
gonna have the
excuse. I can make a
gear to build them and use them because you've already farmed so much on everybody else. Is the other question, you know?
Right. Well, that too. Yeah, exactly. Like the whole gear thing, they need to make some changes there to make it more time efficient too. Like be able to put gear back on champions and stuff. But
Yeah, sorry, I
kudos
didn't
for
mean, I
them.
didn't, I didn't mean to squirrel you.
No, no, you did, you totally squirrel me. That's fine. But I think too, like you know, for example, there may or may not be people on this stream that went and purchased all of the 3 and 4 star, what are they called, things for the relics,
Assaults.
right? Basalts. And I was like, that's cool. It's, you know, a decent price, and this will give you a huge, you know, leg up in the game. But I'm not going to spend that much money to get, you know, a fraction of a percentage better on my champions. And at this point, the people like cryptos are still going to swap me into the dirt. So what's the point? And so that's where I'm at with this.
Okay. King, what about you?
Yeah, dude. No shit. I mean, what do you want? It's a gotcha game. Like, it's pay to win. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. This is the fact that this is number 1 is blowing my mind. Like, we just rushed through for this. Like, what for fucking what?
Okay. Jay, what about you?
Of course it's, you know, pay to win when it comes to PvP, but in PvE the whole point is to like outsmart the game. Like I'm playing 4 mobile games and I was free to play in all of them. The only reason why I broke my free to plays is when the devs or the game actually shows me, damn, this is worth the spend. Raid, when I first started playing, I was free to play. I broke it because I got so like enveloped in the world and the story, and I saw Plarium's vision. So I was like, damn, let me invest, right? And wish I could take all that back. But
Shit, take mine back too.
yeah. But in general, that's the point of the game is we knew what we were walking into. It's a big casino gotcha. It's not just a gotcha. Gotcha's when you pull a character, you're like, am I gonna get it? Oh, I lost like, you know, 50-50 or maybe a 30-70. Raid's like, oh, you hit the 1%, but now there's a 0.5 to get what you specifically want. It's like, what? Like the numbers are crazy. But yeah, of course, this is what most people would say. I just think if it's pay to win, just figure out a way to beat it by not spending. That's the way that you actually win, right? Versus someone else who spent like 100,000, you might think they're winning, but they just lost a lot. Well, if you're not spending and you're beating the game, you're actually winning. That's how I look at it. But of course, they just create problems and then sell you the solution. That's the main problem.
Of course. Gessel, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everyone's saying the pay to win side is like obvious. That's never really upset me. You know, I may throw it out there as like, oh, I lost because that person spent more than me, or whatever. But not something that's ever gotten me to the point where I'd want to quit. Now, the crushing monetization. I have to say, the only time I've ever really gotten up like to the point where I wanted to quit this game was the last time 2x primals, and I had to go to full mercy to hit that second to hit that mythical,
Mhm.
and it was a third calamitous, bro.
Ooh.
I was ready to just stop playing the game. I'm not gonna lie. That was the first time I was like, I really hate this game, and that it took a good 6 or 7 months before I put a buck back in this game. I was so mad. This was like what, last February or something. I was
Yep.
so mad, so mad. I've never really said that. I never really told people that. I seriously almost stopped playing. I was so mad, but I was like, all right, relax, relax, whatever, move on.
And rightfully
stop
so,
stop
man.
spending. Yeah,
15, what
so
is it?
I've been there. I've been there.
$1,000 for a mythical if you're lucky. If you have to go all the way
Oh
to
my
Mercy, it's
God.
kind of crazy to think about
It
that,
hurt.
right?
It hurt, bro.
Can I
It
have one
hurt.
more thing on this?
Yeah, go
It
ahead.
hurt.
I just also feel like a lot of people, and especially like viewers, and when we're watching like Twitch and YouTube, is like you're seeing really, really good accounts, really progressive accounts beating things at like the optimal way or the best way. Like, and this is the beautiful thing about this game is there's tons of ways to beat a boss or beat the game. It doesn't have to be this one specific way, and it's all account dependent on what you have. So, I think that's amazing. So you can beat the boss this way, you can beat it this way, you can beat it this way, you can beat it this way. Burns, poisons, enemy max HP, raw damage. So it's like, I think people just gonna get this mindset of, oh, I have to beat the fastest, the best. I gotta get this champion, have to use this champion, and it's like you really don't. Like you can do a lot of different ways to beat this game and to play it.
Yep, and a good content creator will help you find those ways on for your account.
That's not me. But what you can do though is
A good content creator.
You can go find out where Jay can be found, and maybe he could help you. Jay, where can people come find you?
Both on Twitch.tv and YouTube.
Guesto, where can people come and find you?
Yeah, I guess so. Gaming on Twitch and on the YouTubes.
Zero, what about yourself, sir?
Yep, Zero Brew on the Twitches and the YouTubes every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday evening. And I'm going to try to focus on getting more YouTube stuff out there, so be on the lookout.
Awesome. King, where can people come and find you?
Twitch, King_Copium, YouTube, King Copium RSL.
Awesome. And then PJ, where can people come and find you, brother?
MXPJE, Twitch, and YouTube. We stream all the time. Come stop by.
Awesome. Hey, Gusto, what you got for a shout out for me, bro?
Oh, I forgot about shout outs.
right,
Real quick. I got one. Let's shout out Pogo, my man Pogo Pink Tie. I love shouting out Pogo. One of my favorite streamers. Go over there, Pogo_Pink Tie.
Awesome. King, what you got for a shout out for me, bro?
Shout out's going to be for Big Papa Drock. Awesome on the YouTube side. Hasn't really been doing the Twitch thing. He's been having some health stuff going on. I don't know if you guys watch him or not, but go show some love. Drop a sub to him. He deserves it. Does a lot for our community, and he's an awesome person.
Yes, sir. I agree. Zero, what you got for a shout out for me, bro?
We can't have this whole podcast and not shout out Bronco Raids on the YouTubes is the man that took a whole bunch of bullets for just putting out the content. And I personally think it's unnecessary that he took those shots, honestly. Still upset about that. But yeah, give him some love. And honestly, without him, we wouldn't have gotten stuff either identified early or fixed in the game. And I know we joked that players should just hire him, but he will test the game because they certainly don't.
Right. I mean, just think about it this way. Would you rather be upset now while the fusion's still live and early on, or after you've invested so much energy,
Exactly.
times, and resources, and then 6 months down the line, they nerf this champion? Agree with you.
Why pick one when I can do both, man?
That's true, too. PJ, what you got for a shout out for me, bro?
All right, we're giving a shout out to Bard Games. He's an awesome dude. Also a late night streamer. Loves the Race Shuttle Legends. Loves to theory craft. Think outside the box. Does account help as well. Definitely check him out. Don't follow. Good dude over there.
Awesome. And then Jay, what you got for a shout out for me, bro?
My shout out is going to go to one of our members, Final Kenpachi, because I know if he would have been here, he would have been pretty upset as well. So that's why I was a little extra spicy today.
Oh, Yeah, definitely Final Compachi. He'll be back next week. Hopefully his legs aren't as sore and he can actually, make it and chat with us. I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Metaverse Truck, who we're actually going to raid. He's doing some takeovers and stuff. So make sure when we go over there, you guys give him a follow, show him some love. Wish him a happy birthday, even though it's not his birthday. Just wish him a happy birthday. Let's have some fun with that. Guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Beautiful 2 hours. I know we went a little bit over the time. That said, we had a lot of stuff to discuss. It definitely needed to. If you have a topic that you would wish for us to discuss, join the Discord, have the conversations. There's a tab in there where we can discuss everything. And I think I'm going to start doing something a little interesting with that, where if we pick your discussion to talk about it on a podcast, we'll be giving away some gems and an ancient shard. I think, I get some content creator perks. I might as well start using them and giving them out, right? I know half the time I give them to you guys to give them out, but maybe I should start giving them out, doing a little bit more of a work instead of being lazy. That's it, guys. As always, thank you so much for hanging out. Much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
3, 2, 1, and we're out.